Live episode number 4. Sorry, we're a touch late. I know I should know better. I should start our late times later than I perceive we're gonna start. We're fashionably late. We're showbiz late, I suppose you
Showbiz.
could call it. Yeah, we're just a touch, like just a little bit, just a little bit late.
You know, there's always
What, but what's
get
but
right, Dave.
listen, what's 41 minutes between friends? Uh, See, this some of the stuff behind the scenes when me and Ryan were not live. We would film. Ryan would be like, "Ah, yeah, it's like 7. We'd be like, "All right, no problem." Head upstairs at 7. He's like, "Ah, just give me just a minute." Like, it'd be like 7:45. We'd start, but I'm used to it now, so it's fine. But now everyone else has to catch up and get used to it because we're going live.
I'll try to be more prudent. I'm getting better.
You're gonna get the Dave Landau clause. Uh, Ryan, what do we have today? You might ask. Good question. We're going to talk about. Just pretend you asked. We're going to talk Ukraine aid. We got part 3 of some Johnson and Johnson. It's crazy how much we've talked about them recently. I wonder why. We got the man who set himself on fire. Newsflash, he was a little crazy. I kind of want to talk about Joe Biden. Have you heard about the cannibalism story?
Oh God, I can't wait.
See, my favorite thing about Ryan is that he doesn't actually. You would think like we do this every week, right? You would think like he's like, no, he doesn't. He like waits until I hit him with shit. It's great.
Yeah.
And I do kind of want to talk Daily Wire too, because Daily Wire again is missing the mark as always. I know Ryan, you just started the Tucker Carlson Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh,
this ties into that. Jeremy Boring took a little bit of a shot at Tucker Carlson. So
about the Rogan pod.
Yeah,
they just can't help it so much better.
They constantly get it wrong lately. I made a joke that they're tied into the FBI portals that were tied into the old Twitter.
Makes sense. That's what Daily Wire Plus was when they got their government contract.
You remember the leaked video we did with Alex Jones, and they're like, "Oh yeah, there's feds in every group." Yeah, they're in the Daily Wire. Let's start. I'm going to put it up on the screen, Ryan.
What do you mean, David? They purposely set up people to rip them apart. They would never.
Wouldn't they, though? Wouldn't they exactly do that? So,
wait a second. Wait a second. Yeah.
What?
No, this is, you would think with a headline like, headlines, House passes critical aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan along with a TikTok ban. This would say World War III funding and America hates freedom.
You would think this would be in 3 separate bills, but
no, the TikTok ban aid. You can't be against the TikTok ban, David.
It's the aid and ban bill.
Yeah. The bombs that are being sent from Israel into Palestine and vice versa, and Taiwan and people.
Interestingly enough, Ryan, I know you're used to us and our foreign policy being funding both sides of the war. So we are sending aid to Israel. Look at that little gopher guy. We're sending aid to Israel and Groundhog. We're sending aid to the Gaza Strip relief, and we're sending aid to Ukraine, and we're going to ban TikTok.
So let me get this straight. We start a war with Russia, and then we can send aid to Ukraine. And then we can also, when there's things breaking out in Israel and Palestine, we can send Israel weapons and things to defend themselves from the Palestinians. And then after Israel fucks up the Palestinians, we give the money to the Palestinians to help them rebuild after Israel fucks them up.
That was really hard to follow, but I'm pretty sure you nailed it. But that's not because of you. That's because, in general, it's hard to follow. This was the House floor, by the way, if anyone needs a visual of what it looked like when we were spreading our democracy throughout the West, the East. Where is Ukraine now? Do they consider it the West now, right?
As NATO.
It was always the East until recently, and now we've claimed it as our own.
I tried finding it on a map. Where's the American flag?
Probably in there somewhere. But this is the United... I jokingly called it the United Countries of America. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like our house floor being a shrine to other nations. Let's keep it. Let's keep it here. Let's keep it professional.
I don't know, Dave. It's not like a president from another country came here and asked us for money.
He did though. He did. He
Just,
did come here and do it, and he also did it publicly on any social media possible.
well, it's not like he said that he would send, that our sons or daughters would have to die to help Ukraine. David, surely that's not the same guy.
No, he did. He did say that. We actually did a show about it. Ooh, I saw an article about it was an American veteran who went to Ukraine to join. So this isn't American troops on the ground. I want to be clear. This was an American
Not
veteran
American.
who went to Ukraine to join a troop, and he's a sniper there. And he was talking about how they like the Russian weaponry more than the Ukrainian weaponry, which is interesting because I'm pretty sure we provided all the weaponry to Ukraine.
So you don't like the American-made stuff for Ukraine? Gotcha.
So, I don't know how you consider that. Do you consider it 14 and a half boots on the ground? It's hard to count that one up as a full troop.
He's a sniper, David, so he's laying down.
I think what he said was he liked the Russian snipers more just because the ammo is more available. Which is weird because we sent, well, it's going to be well over $100 billion with the new bill.
$100 billion?
Yeah, it's over $100 billion for sure.
But we can't afford universal health care or college for people.
Well, not here. Maybe in Ukraine we can.
Yeah, I'm just going to start identifying as a Ukrainian refugee or a Mexican refugee.
Well, see, you are Ukrainian, so you're good. You have Ukrainian heritage, Ryan. Surely you're probably getting checks in the mail. You're not getting them from me because I'm hoarding all of our, as you know, I hoard all of our podcast funds. But you probably get some from the United States for just being Ukrainian heritage. It's like a reparations.
Yeah, Dave, you're holding on to those dollars out of that leaky bucket of the podcast fund, like Ben Shapiro and his entire program.
I'm gonna hang one of those in our new studio. I'm gonna have a dollar on the wall.
A leaky bucket, or
no. The basement in general is leaky. I'm gonna have a dollar on the wall, like a restaurant. You know how they have their first dollar.
You're gonna have our first podcast buck.
Yeah, that's why I didn't give you any yet. I need to get it all in here.
It only took Rogan 30 years to make it, David. So,
Yeah. So speaking of Rogan, I like this. Thank you. Tucker and Rogan had an episode on the Joe Rogan Experience, and it was good. I encourage everybody to watch it. I certainly don't have clips or anything like that. It's more of like a laid back, go listen to it. It's great. Interestingly, there were a lot of things said. One of the things Tucker said was that, and I'll admit I'm one of these guys, but one of the things Tucker said was that people who said it kind of harshly, people who try to defend the atomic bomb in World War II being dropped on Japan are evil. Now, I would personally have some back and forth with Tucker on this. I don't 100% agree with that. I understand what place he's coming from, and I fully empathize with that. I admit, like it must have been a really tough decision, truthfully, to knowingly kill tens of thousands of innocent people. You just had to do the math on it. You had to assume if the war was going to keep continuing, and I get it. He's saying people who try to defend it are evil. As someone who tries to defend it, I can assure you I'm not evil. But I get his point.
Do we think if Russia or Japan had a nuclear bomb, they wouldn't have dropped it?
We're just
in
doubt. To this day, though, and there's a point to be made, to this day, with all the people who have nuclear weaponry right now, we're the only nation who dropped a nuke. And we did it twice to the same country. But Jeremy Boring took some serious offense to this in the most Daily Wire way possible.
Why, was his wife there with Tucker Carlson?
Well, he wouldn't have divorced her. People who deny the moon landing or suggest America is evil for its use of atomic weapons against Imperial Japan, or who say that George Bush was behind 9/11 actually hit this country.
Oh, so he took a shot by taking a shot.
Yeah, he took a shot for sure. There's no doubt.
I mean,
it wasn't indirect in any way. He did everything but tag him in the post.
Leave it up to the Daily Wire dorks to believe that 9/11 official story still. When they had to release a commission report that was stuffed with stuff, that we knew who Osama bin Laden was, for example.
Well, the CIA very specifically trained him
It was a
in this
portal,
more
David.
specific.
It was just
Oh,
a
it was just a portal.
so.
Just
I don't know if they call it. Maybe they call them gates then, stargates.
I don't know what it is with Daily Wire, but they like recently, I would say within the last year, they just constantly get it wrong. It's incredible.
It's almost like since the beginning of the Israeli war with Palestine, David. I mean, truly, we've been doing the
That was
Veep thing.
before that. It was
I think.
before that. There was the whole Crowder thing too, and like once
Ah,
he exposed them, they almost had no reason to hide it. It's almost it's kind of what it seems like.
yeah, I had a Ben Shapiro rant. Like it had to be a few months past by now, but we were doing the Veep thing long before that.
Oh yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
just, yeah, you know, it's. I guess it's like anything else. Like it wasn't. You could only get so big before you start having some, like, some of this. Maybe it's just growing pains, right? This is a new space and all that too. You know, I don't want to be too hard on Daily Wire, but it does seem like they
No,
just.
I do, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm looking. I'm just simply saying with like some of their seems like they're falling off. Maybe it's just the growing pains, but like truly, like you say, Dave, they missed the mark. It. I would like to think it's not purposeful, but after they keep hitting their head. Like the people that watch your show don't believe 9/11 official story, but the people that are telling me to not trust the government about Joe Biden are telling me to trust the government about fucking 9/11 because a Republican was in there.
Essentially, yeah. Essentially,
Just like
that's the point being made.
yeah, and also just don't trust YouTube writing the contracts for your YouTube channel. Trust Daily Wire to write the contracts for your YouTube channel.
Which says they follow the YouTube guidelines to a T. The
It's weird.
reason
I
I want to
thought Ben
be
Shapiro was against imperialism, and here he is following very.
well, he's not. He's entirely for imperialism.
Yeah, this is what's. I'm not smart as that guy. Like I'm really not that smart. But like
Well, then
in
that's
3 questions, we unzipped their entire stance is basically like the back to the roots, fucking strong conservative value. You don't even have integrity as a company, but you have integrity to lead me as a nation, as a political ideology, as you're telling me to pick. Basically, Ben Shapiro was trying to be night maker when it comes to election processes and telling you like what kind of values to have. So when you go vote, you can make a better educated decision. So he's trying to directly influence the culture of America by saying the tenets and these rigid things that made America great and all this stuff, but he can't even do it in his own business.
yeah. Well, the reason too I want to be
The problem is
hard on.
they're good too. They have the funding. They do dismantle
Well,
narratives. Like
that's why we need to be harder on them because they have the ability, they have the pull, they could actually do some good, and instead they do this kind of nonsense.
they're the Mike Pence of podcast platforms.
A little bit, yeah. They're kind of like the
The Jewish Mike.
moderate while still conservative. It's weird. They're like socially conservative, but still moderate in every other aspect. It's really weird. It's like the worst of all sides stance to be.
Yeah, you just can't say Christ is king, and you can't be for abortion.
Well,
Everything else we're conservative on, though. Everything.
I don't know. I don't like it.
You can only homeschool your kids if the Torah is involved.
Ryan, I don't know. What do you want to go with next? Do you want to talk about this guy who set himself on fire?
I'm so happy you went there. This is the craziest shit ever.
What an absolute lunatic! And by the way, we recently had the member of the military who set himself on fire. Also,
Yeah, and that was in down in Israel, sorry, to protest the war, if I'm not mistaken. The not war, not World War III.
both of them have died. So what I can conclude from this: fire is a very effective method of suicide, but not a great method of protesting.
Yeah, like, are we? The problem with lighting yourself on fire is like, you can go on TikTok and watch somebody get lit on fire like every 30 seconds. So like the idea that you're gonna make people pay attention to the Trump trial, like the mainstream media is only gonna use this as a biscuit to keep feeding their bullshit to the audience. Like, look, did you see the guy lit himself on fire about the Trump fire? The Trump now has a fire at his trial. It's so crazy. The trial's literally on fire.
To be
Trump
fair,
trial's on fire.
Trump told him he was fired, and he took it the wrong way.
Yo, this guy's also a lunatic. I think I've heard it put because he has a manifesto of some kind. Of.
Yes. So here's a couple things, and this is from Colin Rugg. But he says the guy's name is Max Azzarello, so that's the man who has been identified as the man who set himself on fire and died.
Allegedly.
Here's a short clip of him being a little different.
Start a fucking revolution. Start a fucking revolution. Start a fucking revolution. You've got nothing to lose.
If I'm honest, you can like see the mental health decline in this man.
Yeah, how desperate you got to be to light yourself on fire outside of a former president being put to jury trial based on hush money during an election campaign that happened 4 years ago.
The thing that's I lost you. You lost me. I lost you. Somebody lost somebody.
Am I back?
Back. I think we're back. You good?
All right, back. We're on the fire guy.
Which network are we on now? Sometimes you're on the Gaza network, the sometimes Ukrainian network. I think this was me. So currently, I don't know.
Yeah, Dave, you're in some basement fortress in New York City where the Jews are building tunnels to come bail you out of your Seinfeld reruns.
I will I will be in the tunnels one day, but right now I'm in the attic.
The tunnels.
But
program.
Yeah, he's got like a list of you could call it a hit list if you want, but he calls it the big Ponzi players: Elon Musk, Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton, Richard Branson, Ross Perot, Mark Cuban, and Elizabeth.
It's amazing we still talk about Ross Perot.
It is, isn't it?
He's so good at being Ross Perot, bro, that they're still Ross Perot-ing Ross Perot years later.
He certainly isn't around anymore.
Like, and this whole thing was, he was taking votes away. You mean like the media has done for 50 years for candidates and swayed elections based on articles that may or may have not been published? You know, that was the thing in that Tucker interview, David, that he said, this is kind of a little shocking, but whatever, I get it. He said he didn't not believe the government until Trump said he got spied on.
Yes. Yeah, I did like that. And keep in mind, that was what, 17, 18? Like, it was
I'm glad
fairly recently.
Yeah, I'm glad he admitted. And he said, I'm not proud of it. I'm embarrassed, but I'm glad. And he's like, I started, what else is fake? It's like, I was awake before Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally.
And
the guy that you went to for news, we've been awake longer than this guy. Yeah.
And I'm thankful he came around. Truly, because like the like evolution of him has been incredible. And I'm so glad that he got pushed out of Fox News and he can do his own thing now, because he is a totally different person on his own. I love it.
Till Randy Brand Machino or whatever her name is comes shut down that portal at X over there.
Randy,
whatever. What's her name? Brandy.
Linda Yaccarino.
Brandishino, Lapidino.
Randy Brandishino.
Randy Brandishino. That is like, oh god, that's like a comic book character, like a shitty gas station.
I love it. I fucking love it. No, Linda Yaccarino.
Yeah.
No, the evolution of Tucker Carlson has been. It's been a good. I'm glad he got there. But to your point, yeah, we've been calling out shit longer than this. You specifically too.
Yeah, and now I guess like just hearing Tucker Carlson say that publicly, hopefully more people will be open to it, sure, but like that also gives me perspective of like what kind of I mean, he is educated, successful. He was probably had multi thousands, millionaire, retired. Like he's living high level American dream, still believing the lie. Like basically, the people that shouldn't be duped are duped.
You know what I would say too?
Gnarly. That's
This
dude.
this
Gnarly.
this couldn't happen without the like revolution of social media and platforms like Rumble.
Yeah, and
Because if
thank
it was
God
still
people
just Fox News and
ask
CNN, he'd still
questions.
be on Fox News doing Fox News stuff. He had an out.
Well,
That's
it's
very
also kind of
important.
indicative. Like, I remember when Alex Jones was the. This is once again now. This is even better now talking about Alex in hindsight about being. Oh yeah, back when I would listen to Alex, like, oh, you mean before Tucker Carlson started talking to him? And now he's fucking aliens are spiritual entities that come from the water. What are we like? Seriously?
I mean, really, if that's not influenced by Alex Jones, then I don't know what is it? He has a theory about aliens too, aren't they? Like interdimensional space
Yeah, they
demons
don't.
or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he has a problem with the idea that they're like alien. They're not alien. They're interdimensional. Like that's why I like actually Tucker saying it was supernatural because it defies the things we understand and like basically they're magic. They're just fucking magic. Get over it. They're souls. It's magic, right? The point in saying all that is like it's interesting. Like I thought like the con, I thought like oh my god, all these people. How do you not see this? But like literally the people you go to for questions. Thank God there is a certain subset of people that are just like, I don't believe shit. I will not believe it. Even if you show me, I would rather be crazy. I'd rather think that the government is ran like a freaking comic book and all this deep tyranny and that it's actually not than to think that it's all puppy dog and rainbows when really they run murder camps to siphon off the psychological entities and like he said in that interview, it gets dark, and we had Kev on for the adrenochrome episode. And that's like a little, very small segment of that's
We
probably
did
what
like
Tucker.
almost 2 hours with Kevin on adrenochrome, and like at the end of the first episode, we broke into 2 parts. At the end of the first episode, like I felt physically ill. Like
Yeah,
it was crazy.
and when you think about what Tucker said, we literally were channeling a spirit with us just to discuss the topic. Like if these things are all around us and we can't, it's like a spirit soup. I don't want to get too voodoo and lost in the weeds with this. It's just like to wrap it all back up, it kind of just buttons in with some of the Ben Shapiro. Like we're like, how can he miss the mark? Well, Ben Shapiro must believe that there's actually good people in government at so many levels that is supposed to protect it and safeguard the system and uphold the Constitution. And
Well, I
it's like
think
these
there's a
people.
question to be asked, like for it to be the way we see it, right? Where there's literally adrenochrome, like child
Bam.
pedophile rings and all this stuff. Like, what percentage of the government has to be literally evil? Half.
Well, all of government's evil, right, David, in principle. But yeah, you
I
mean like
mean, like of the participants, right?
literal.
Like, surely there's a couple of the like we look to some of these people, the Thomas Masseys and things like Rand
Well,
Paul's.
it's not Den
Like,
Crenshaw. Clearly, David. Fucking
surely
punch
not
that guy's other
everybody.
eye out of his skull. I swear to God, I gotta hear about a veteran fight for fuck. I'm glad you got shot in the face, you
Peacefully.
fuck. Oh yeah, no, we're just spying on certain Americans. What the fuck, dude?
So,
Yeah, cut your nose and spite your face, you one-eyed bastard. Sorry, dude.
So,
I can't. The Jews in Texas. Do you remember that episode? Here you go.
yes.
Punch that guy's other. Poke that eye out.
So what percentage though? Seriously, because I don't believe that every member of the government is evil, and you can even look to like these groups like the FBI and the CIA. Surely there's some employees and agents that are still decent, good people, but like if you look at all the people in government, there has to be a large percentage for it to be evil for these things to happen. Because if it was just like a few people at the top, they would get booted out. Every
Well,
speaker of the house that goes in brings these bills up, sends aid to Ukraine, every speaker of the House. He had Speaker Johnson had the power to not even bring this to the floor. Not that that's the most evil thing I can think of, but just to make a point.
Well, it's almost too, David. It's probably actually the inverse. You would think that it's a small probability. Like, oh, it's only 10%, because in our life, right, we live in reality. They don't. This is what I'm getting to. You know, their entire lives, that entire system is built
Raided
on,
by dogs.
yeah, their entire apparatus is built on fallacy and falsity and like deception at a level of like the politics. But like, you live in reality, I live in reality. We can't have tyrants for bosses because no one would work for the company, right? Like all these things. But there, it's got to be the inverse. I almost wonder if it's like a competition of who's the biggest shill, for lack of a better term, for whatever, for religion, for big pharma, for corporate interest, for foreign interest, for constitution. I mean, shills on all the gun shills, the fucking socialist shills, the constitution shills. Like, somebody, you got to shill for something. You know, I just want you to shill for America, quite frankly. That's fine. That'd be shill that way. I want everybody to be a shill for America. Go small business, go that. I just want you to shill for the stuff that helps. But I'm still a shill. I'm not stupid. But yeah, I almost wonder if they like try to outcompete each other for corruption. It's like working for Emperor Palpatine. You know, like how many people were literally cutting people. Anakin Skywalker murdered children to please Emperor Palpatine. Stuff he never thought he would do. You know, this is the Nazi camp concentration guard. This is just with political power and political reasoning and billions. I mean, in theory, these dudes, they may be influenced. This is what I mean about government running the corporations. It's not the corporations run the government. Because, like, yeah, like I get Jeff Bezos can lobby and give them all these black X, Y, and Z. But when they ink these deals, like they're showing everybody that, like, look, I'm not just taking from the pockets of everybody for no reason. Like, I'll take from the rich and the poor. That's arguably worse. This is why I said all of government's corrupt and terrible. But like the idea that they're going to have less power. Tucker Carlson laid out on the Rogan episode, there's 12 million government employees.
This freaking dog is... Sit down.
Studio Sacred. Oh, so is that the...
It's not. It's freaking Eve's poodle.
It's not the crypto dog. Oh, Dave. I got the cat in the background here.
Your cat made me sneeze. It's the only logical explanation.
Well, it's just Veep, David.
Ryan, I have a theory about shilling. I told you this theory. There's going to be a lot of pro-America stuff. I don't know why. I don't know why I think that. I just think it. Is that okay sometimes to just think something without even having logic? I just feel it coming.
Well, think until it's illegal, David. That's what I would tell you. Because clearly, when they put Neuralink in my head, I'm going to have all the free thoughts because I have all the information at my access to be a free-thinking individual. But I got to hear about how Tucker Carlson just recently didn't start trusting the government until a few years ago. Yeah, I started talking to people that talk to people. Yeah, I heard this on Alex Jones, fucking 2008. Sorry, dude. I've been awake longer than Tucker Carlson. Is hilarious to me.
Ryan.
Yeah, sorry. What were we talking about? You have a theory on World War III propaganda and how they're going to try to...
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to try to push like a...
Here's my only problem with it. Well, you're right, definitely. But they're going to have to propagandize you through... The people that are overweight and fat, they're going to have to do it through video games or movies, right? They got to capture your imagination about being at war. And then the people that are actually fit... I wonder if they're going to be recruiting at gyms. You'll see pro-America stuff at like gyms and healthy places that people that are like fit and are capable, and MMA places and prisons, probably prisons, you know.
We'll see. It's a very raw theory right now.
Raw theory that will, I'm sure by next week at this time, David, we'll see a poster.
Ryan, I want to.
Are you
read?
Kidding?
Well,
me,
I just want to read this
kidding.
without any biases, Ryan. Analyst updates Johnson & Johnson's stock price target after earnings. I want to go through this. I do. In 1984, Johnson & Johnson began selling talc as Johnson's baby powder, which, by the way, there's there's some things to be said about that. The
Causes
original square
cervical cancer, and they knew about it. And they knew
well,
about it for 50 years, and they fucking lied about it. Trust them now with the vaccine for the once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, David, and not that it's going to cause turbo cancer.
well, it's fine. They're curing cancer through gene therapy, Ryan. So don't fear not.
They're curing
Uh,
cancer that they put into your body with gene therapy, David. They put the cancer in there. Of course, they could cure you of the cancer. They implemented and planted the cancer in you. Sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to be pre-Tucker Carlson, everybody here.
the company's talc products became a liability. That's unfortunate. And Johnson & Johnson has been under fire for a decade for a myriad of cases alleging that its talc-based baby powder has caused cancer.
For 10 years. That's a lie. This is longer than 10 years.
I think he said decades, right? Nope, for a decade. Most of these
they've
claims
just been being
are
charged
over.
for a decade. I'm sure a whistleblower and people familiar with the information said it for many decades before that, but they were called crazy kook conspiracies because the news didn't tell them. Sorry, Dave. That's freaking aggravating. Tucker Carlson kind of let me down with that one. I'm not going to lie to you.
Most of these claims are over women who got ovarian cancer, but others involved mesothelioma, a cancer tied to asbestos exposure. Formerly baby powder users contend that Johnson & Johnson executives knew since the early 70s damages that the products contain trace amounts of asbestos. Since 2014, at least a dozen injuries have awarded a total of more than $6.5 billion in damages to consumers, blaming the powder for their cancer.
So it didn't cause cancer. We just paid out billions to say. Sounds like the vaccine courts, David.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of settlements involved in that number.
Yeah. It's just one settlement, David. Clearly for.
Well, hold on. Some of those awards later were reduced or thrown out on an appeal. Johnson & Johnson has said that talc products are safe and do not cause cancer, but the company pulled its talc-based products from 2020 and said that it would pull all of it worldwide by the end of 23.
Safe and effective.
Now, the thing here's the thing. Luckily they happen to be curing cancer now. Here's the thing.
Yeah, look at the curing cancer. We're gonna pull all of our product off the shelves, but we have no way to enforce the products off the shelves.
Well, that's exactly right. Like, so if you know, like, without a doubt that your product does not cause cancer, you would not be pulling it off of the shelf.
Well, David, it's not like they paid out billions of dollars to people that were possibly harmed by the product. The appeal is what's the best part,
Ryan,
imagine getting cancer because you were told to put it on your body by like the company or the doctor, and they knew about it, and then it gave you cancer, and then after you think you won, they go back to court and they appeal it, and they go, I'm
not entirely sure what he's getting at. Buff Mike, Rumble is used by the Canadian government to monitor right-wing propaganda.
Yeah. And NPR is used to monitor left-wing propaganda. Your point?
Well, I suspect you would use Rumble because right-wing propaganda
can't be on YouTube. I can't be on YouTube.
It's banned on other platforms thanks to portals of the FBI. So yeah, I suppose you would use. I suppose you would use the one company that allows speech.
Yeah, to go further, Mike, like that's kind of the point. It's a problem about the elimination of allowing and thinking that you can just be a publisher of people's opinions when everybody uses the fucking product. Like there's only two phone companies, and the phone companies make the same phone with different parts. It's the same thing. They paint it a different color. We all have the same cell phone guts. They're literally the same chip. That's been the whole Android thing. Android's had that for years. Apple's catching up. No. They got to make the illusion that you have a choice. So to go full circle, of course they have to use Rumble. Rumble was probably designed to go full conspiracy here. It's probably designed for right-wing collection like this. Because then it's easier to just keep us in an echo chamber. But the point, Rumble wouldn't exist if we could all just go to one place and talk all openly, and there was no algorithm and there was no search engine that would split people up based on your search history or based on your connections or based on your phone number and your geolocation and how many fucking 7-Elevens you drove by to get 7-Eleven ads. But that's what they gave me. I'm not allowed on YouTube because the things Dave and I have been censored for on YouTube. It's not my opinion. This is the problem of my friends and family when I tell them that I've been censored on the internet. It's not that I'm out here saying outlandish things. I have simply asked questions and repeated things that I heard or a theory, or that's not to censor. One day I won't be able to get a fucking job because I asked a question about a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. The one time we probably should ask all the questions if it's once in a lifetime. We're not going to have another chance to ask all these questions. But I'll have a social credit score tied to this and tell me this won't happen when it's in China already. And then what? I'm supposed to sit by and let it happen in America when I know it's going to happen in America because the same company that makes the products in America makes them for the Chinese government. Why do you think China doesn't mind they make the fucking phone there? They can keep an eye on the whole entire process to monitor what I'm saying is like, it's not a slight on Rumble. I would love to make money on YouTube. They won't let me. So it's not right-wing propaganda. It's only propaganda because it's only propaganda because the only time that I'm allowed to speak is to a certain section of people that will listen to me. They don't want me to debate people. They don't want me to have a difference of opinion, and they don't want me to contradict the mainstream narrative. I'm not special. I'm just more awake than Tucker Carlson, apparently. I don't trust these people. I'm tired of trying to rationalize why I need to trust known liars. They crashed a boat into a fucking bridge in front of your face and said it wasn't a terrorist attack. During an election year. Maybe Archduke Franz Ferdinand being shot right before World War II wasn't the straw. World War I wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back either. This is insanity. So yeah, call it propaganda, whatever. NPR is a left-wing propaganda hub. Google is a left-wing. They're all left-leaning. So everything that is not left-leaning is going to seem right-wing. And you know what? Quite frankly, I don't even give a fuck about the wings. I just want America. I just want America back. I don't even want wings. Sorry, I didn't mean to get in this rant. Mike's a great guy, but it's true. Like, it's not propaganda. Rumble is not a propaganda platform.
Well, what's interesting is he asked, is it YouTube blocking it or people reporting and complaining and YouTube's hand is being forced? So, yes.
They scan the entire episode with AI-generated freaking subtitles.
Yeah. But hold on. To his point, yes and yes. So YouTube is blocking it, and it is because they're being forced. Now, when you say, are people reporting and complaining? Yes, people being the FBI and the CIA. It's absurd to think that. It's absurd to think that we put content out, and then there's AI algorithms that are designed and purported to shut us down on purpose by the FBI. Not saying the FBI is targeting us directly, but they have hot words and hot phrases.
They're not targeting the people that are telling your 7-year-old kid to mutilate their genitals, though. But they'll censor me because I asked a question about a fucking vaccine, and then the company is making millions for turbo cancer research. It doesn't exist. This is insane. This is fucking insane. They violated the goddamn Nuremberg Code. That's not a YouTube fucking thing. Our grandparents watched people die in hundreds of millions of people. That's not, fuck YouTube. Propaganda. It's Nuremberg propaganda. That's not right wing. They're making millions. My mom's allergic to Benadryl. She's never been allergic to Benadryl. She got the fucking vaccine. What did Brent Weinstein says? RMANAWXYZ technology that I'm too dumb to understand goes everywhere in your fucking body. And we don't know what it's doing.
Out of curiosity, when you're allergic to Benadryl, what do you take?
I don't know. If you have an allergic reaction to the thing that stops allergic reactions, that's weird. Mom already has trouble breathing. That's fucking... Why is it attacking the breathing? Oh, you mean the weakest part of her body? That's where all this stuff's happening, at the weakest part of her body. They just had the most sophisticated gene editing vaccine ever invented, and then we just suddenly see people, oh yeah, must be pre-existing condition. Yeah, like fucking epigenetic warfare, you prick.
He's requesting I read his quote on mRNAs. I don't know why. mRNA vaccines have been around since the 80s, but not used till Operation Warp Speed. The technology's been around,
such a good technology, why wouldn't it be? If we studied it so much, you put more freaking research in a vaccine than an airbag, and everybody has an airbag, David. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean, yes, the idea and the concept and the technology has been around, but I mean, certainly specifically the COVID vaccine was not out in the 80s.
Yeah, it's not even a freaking vaccine.
And it wasn't, and it was, to your own point, it wasn't used. So like, what kind of data are we even going off of here?
Yeah, we don't actually know. Jordan Peterson broke it down with Destiny that nobody went and listened to because it was right-wing propaganda, even though Destiny's the most left-leaning person. I think it's burned by Jordan Peterson, a guy that wrote scientific papers. I got to hear the right-wing propaganda shit, though. The right-wing... Whatever. It's annoying. It's annoying. I've been censored, and then I'm told I'm propaganda.
I got some
by
propaganda.
the people that propaganda you. One news story would change the election. 1 in 4 people. Bread is $7 but I'm propaganda. I'm propaganda.
No, it was like 2 and 5, Ryan. Don't inflate the numbers.
It's like saying like they close your church down. Be like, look at you. You got no community. You close the church down. No wonder nobody comes to listen to me. Worship. Listen, it's fucking unbelievable. Hold on. If you think they're gonna stop at right-wing propaganda, just wait until you say something they don't like next. It's just a line. It's an invisible line. Right now, it's political. Soon it will be sports teams. This is literally in every freaking story and history book ever written about corruption and tyrants. But maybe we didn't read those yet, Tucker Carlson.
Ryan, 45 minutes ago. I like to keep it a tight hour. Listen,
I'm sorry.
In the name of
propaganda is so insulting.
In the name of keeping things moving, I'll be honest. I love some good propaganda conspiracy. Let's talk about it. I don't even know what to make of this. There's no reason to even lie about something like
Canadian propaganda, the country that locked down the fucking truckers that protested. Oh, right, they just took all their money. Right. Only the right wingers lost money, David.
Calm down. Listen,
lost for words. I'm sure because you're having a stroke.
Couldn't one podcast keep viral change? Couldn't one podcast going viral change the election? Yeah, it could, but the reason we specifically bring up this story that could change the election is because it was one specific thing that actually happened that was provably proven in a poll. Dude, that it would have changed the election. So the Hunter Biden laptop story, for people who didn't know, when it was polled on Twitter, provably through a poll would have changed the election. So like that's all you even need to talk about election fraud. When the FBI, who had known portals to to Twitter and to other social media companies, told everyone to shut the story down, and that specific story happened to provably change the election, then yes, the government interfered in a free election with its people.
That's just a metric, dude. That's not even like the. When do you believe it from one source? Every news story ever broken. Music is only made by one person, one source, one material. Books are written by at one point. When do you trust something from a certain source? This is crazy. Joe Rogan has somebody on, and then all you see, the information, if you don't listen to that podcast, all you see is news articles about the one thing that happened. Yes, one thing. The Bible changed the universe based on one person. What are we? It's one person. And the problem is the one thing that it's actually a combination of so many smaller parts. That's why they have to attack a one thing. It's a symbolic, it's a boiled down representation of it. Just like every freaking symbol ever invented. Colors, everything works like this. It's psychological. Yes, one thing can change it. We just referenced the Hunter Biden laptop story because we told you about the damn laptop story, and they said it didn't exist. And then they said the stuff on the laptop ain't that bad. And then when the stuff on the laptop started coming out, like him smoking fucking crack and he can own fire, are you out of your mind? Or is that right-wing propaganda? Did the AI-generated photograph that crashed the economy because they thought there was a Pentagon attack, was that right-wing propaganda too? But I'm only allowed on right-wing streams, so how can I become left-wing propaganda? Oh, that's right, tote the left-wing line. When I don't even believe Republicans. I said punch Dan Kershaw on the other eyeball. It's the opposite of right-wing.
Well, it would be the left. Wait, which eyeball does he have out?
It's his right eye. So
It's his right eye is out. So yeah, it would be left wing. It'd be left wing to pop.
No,
Okay.
it's his. Yeah.
I don't even remember which one is.
Sorry, dude. Propaganda is so gnarly.
I don't know why my brain's such a fucked up place. I just thought of him at the eye doctor where they're like, hey,
better or worse? I have no eye there.
Let's talk about this because I don't even know. I like sometimes when we close out on a funny note or a fun note. President Biden said that his Uncle Bozy was eaten by cannibals. I don't know. First of all, if it's even true, which according I haven't seen any specific. How would you even prove that? I don't know.
Well, clearly, the FBI portal would fact check this, David, with the most relevant information from left-wing sources, only left-wing.
I don't know if you could ever prove or disprove this. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume Biden is not lying about his uncle being eaten by cannibals. Why even why even talk about it? What is the point?
This dude is he's not on planet Earth.
And secondly, my second question, if this really did happen, he's been in the public eye for like 50 years. Why is this the first time I'm hearing about his uncle being eaten by cannibals? Biden spoke about his uncle, Second Lieutenant Ambrose J. Finnegan Jr. While campaigning in Pittsburgh. I swear to God, every time Biden goes to Pittsburgh, shit goes down.
Why did another bridge collapse, David, right before the infrastructure bill was signed?
He was describing how, quote, Uncle Bozy had flown single-engine planes as reconnaissance flights during the war. The war, I love it. Biden, yeah, like this isn't America. We haven't been at war for 90% of our existence. The war.
The war.
Biden said he got shot down in New Guinea, adding they never found the body because there used to be a lot of cannibals. It's like that's the only reason they didn't find a body of a plane crash was because it got eaten to death.
Yeah, in New Guinea during a world war. That's why they stopped looking.
I don't really know, like, why even tell this story? Like, what was he even trying to get at? Was there a point, or was this like a pretty standard Biden thing where he just says shit and then some, and then I like, admittedly, I have no respect for her, but like Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, has the most difficult job in the entire government. How do you possibly go to work the next day and field questions about him talking about his uncle getting eaten by cannibals? What are you even going to say to that?
Maybe he's trying to be relatable and he's just not.
That's like the least relatable thing you could ever say.
Well, this happens to people all the time.
I had an uncle once, he was eaten by cannibals.
New Guinea, it's so specific. Probably wasn't even called New Guinea.
He was probably like fielding questions about Boeing.
Oh my God.
Boeing,
there was
they make
a plane
planes.
that had a
My uncle was a pilot. He got eaten by cannibals.
You remember when Boeing got a bunch of money during the pandemic and now they can barely keep doors and airplanes in the air?
Well, you don't need all the doors.
Why? It's airtight. Airtight without the door.
No.
I
don't think it's like movies, though. I don't think if the door falls off, you just get sucked out.
Well, maybe if they had like a right-wing leaning airplane company.
Or maybe you do. I don't know. I don't know enough about planes. Is there that much cabin pressure like that? It would create that big of a vacuum?
Yeah, dude. I think the thing in the movie is a legit thing.
Is it really? Like you'd get sucked out of the door for real?
I don't know.
Is it because they fly at such high altitudes?
Well, altitude and speed. I mean, you would think. I mean, dude, it's like a bullet. You know, if there's like
Well,
a
what's a
chip
plane
in a
do?
bullet,
Like 1,000 miles an hour? How fast is a plane?
oh, like 10,000 miles an hour.
10,000 miles an hour.
No, probably not.
No, there's no way it's 10,000
No, it's like
miles.
300, right? You would think.
I don't know how fucking
You
fast
get to New York
planes
City
are.
in a couple hours from Buffalo, so that's a 700
Every
miles.
once in a while, we start saying things, and then I question how much I actually know. How fast are planes? Let's be
5
specific.
knots. What's a
How fast
fucking knot?
is a 747? I don't care about knots. I want to know mph.
Ask them how many doors they got.
Oh, fucking kilometers an hour. I'm not a fucking make it
2.2
miles per hour.
kilometers is a mile.
Come on, give me some real data here.
700 miles an hour.
600.
6.
A Boeing 747 can go 600 miles an hour.
Okay. Probably. I'm just guessing if I roll the window down at 60 and it's probably gonna
I think it's more of the altitude though, not necessarily
yeah.
the speed.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
Because that's why they have to pressurize the cabins, right? So I think the theory is because the cabins are pressurized, so you're able to fly at 30,000 feet. When the door comes off, then the cabin pressure drops. It creates a vacuum. I guess it makes sense. I'm not a scientist.
also probably to retain consciousness so your insides don't turn into fucking jelly. No.
Corporate greed, anything to save and make money at high altitude, it could happen. Yeah, Mike's agreeing. It's an altitude thing.
Good, Mike. I'm glad.
Mike's fucking ripped. He wouldn't even fit out the door.
Just like buff right through it.
He would just
Buff Mike.
He would make his own door.
What if his dick's name was Mike though? Buff Mike was his wiener.
I don't think that's.
This is not the podcast for that, David.
He's a pretty good typer.
Yeah, he's really good with his toes, you know.
Right, I think it's time for the record.
I found a rub and tug locally, but so.
You think I should just move everybody around and just confuse everyone?
Dave, I'm pretty sure I confuse people on this program all the time.
I'm gonna cause seasickness.
You're probably the one that should like keep the ship straight here.
Am I the one who's supposed to do that? Because I feel like some days I shouldn't be tasked with that either.
Well, ADHD, David. Yeah, I don't really have a lot. I mean, obviously, other than telling Ben Shapiro to lick my ass, I normally am running out of talking points on this program, David. There's not enough going on in the world.
That's not true. We did that part already. We already talked about that.
So a couple things.
Patrick Bet David hitting Jeremy Boring here.
I told you guys it's on, bro. I told you
guys. Isn't the premise of being a critical thinker to question things? Yeah, I think that's actually right. Yeah, leave it to Patrick Bet David to be correct.
Yeah, they don't want critical thinking because it disproves them as well. Yeah. Speaking of like just that whole thing, Shapiro had this whole big stink on Tate. I sent Dave the clip. It was the first time I've seen Ben Shapiro in a while, but Patrick Bet David commented on it, which is actually what draw my attention to it. So I listened to his stink on Tate. And Shapiro has every ground for his like personal opinion and stuff, but it's just interesting to watch like the red pill manosphere, right wing.
I do have to interrupt for just a second.
Huh?
I had to interrupt for just a second. Buff Mike, he says buff is for buffalo, not for fit. Whoops.
Whoopsie. Yeah, it was just interesting because the red pill content and the manosphere content kind of overlap with Republican talking points for so long that I think it gained a lot of traction in the right-wing spaces like Twitter and everything else, and the right-wing propaganda of Rumble, because some of the points kind of button up with each other. And I think right now we're watching, it's like dissection of ideas or something. I don't know. But it's interesting to know that like It's not that like Ben Shapiro is playing Veep or anything with this one in particular, but I think we're seeing the titans of industry kind of clash. We're in the new era. We talked about this, I mean, forever ago, but the whole old model of finding and getting information, and Rush Limbaugh died, and some of the left-leaning people, whatever. Just like the old-time broadcast way and the new model, and Tucker on X and the various things. We're really just watching like the clash of titans as far as like spheres of influence with this.
I almost think they need to clash a bit, though.
Yeah, well, it's going to prove who's got the best idea, because we have come in a place that we abandoned history and the tradition of what it gave us, which was like, even if the structure wasn't what we wanted, at least it was a structure. So now we're seeing, because we're going forward now, and everybody kind of tries to have their own philosophies, we're going to see which one kind of sticks it out. It's like instead of it a battle of religion, it's a battle of influencers. So.
I got to tell you, Ryan, that sounds like the reason for free speech.
Yeah, the best ideas get their light, and the bad ones do too, and then
may the best ideas win.
Yeah, and then you go even further. The best ideas would extend over time. The best ideas would get better, and the worst ideas would get worse. Right? Like the worst ideas would say, that looks like World War III propaganda right there, David.
Listen,
You'll be stationed on the front lines with this.
Listen, if I'm sending $100 billion to Ukraine to fight wars, they better put some fucking men on the front line.
Yeah, there's gonna be some. Although they're men, Dave, they just look like girls. Yo, chicks with dicks might be the way to win World War III, David.
Mike wants to know what's a red pill and what does woke mean. Is it good or bad?
You know what woke means. Go woke, go broke. Woke is basically a general term, a colloquial term, I think is the adjective, but it's like a term you use for things that like the transgender thing of when they did Dylan Mulvaney on the Bud Light can. That's Bud Light shifting its changing like its identity based on something socially, at least in the contents. And what do you say? Red pill was the other one?
Yeah.
Red pill is Morpheus from the Matrix. You take the red pill and I show you the rabbit hole. Blue pill is you go back to the Matrix and you wake up in Neverland. Red pill describes very particularly when it comes to men and female dating dynamics. And it describes, at least those guys think that they have the red pill when it comes to understanding women nature. And there is a lot of good stuff in red pill as far as it. If you focus on it right, you learn about biology, psychology, evolution. You learn about you learn about attraction and why things are attractive. And then if you implement them things on yourself, you can have self-improvement. And I only say all that because that's the things I got out of red pill. I came into it as it was growing, but now the red pill you see is the fresh and fit, the Andrew Tate, the, treat women replaceable. And
I'd say too on the woke thing, it's almost like any time that like a cultural minority is force fed to mainstream culture.
Like making a superhero black that's never been black, like a black James Bond. Now granted, fine, cool. James Bond's supposed to be a white guy though. Egyptians were Greeks in Cleopatra's time, but they made the Netflix show about a black pharaoh. Like that, yeah. But yeah, the red pill is basically the idea. Those people ideas saying they're giving you the truth on women. And
speaking of red pills, if you ever want to go down a crazy rabbit hole, there's all types of pills and colors, and good luck trying to remember all of them. There's black pill and white pill and red pill and blue pill, and good luck.
Yeah, but red pill is synonymous with the Matrix. It was just attached to the men's space because they're fucking losers. But any guy that's getting anything in the world doesn't need pills to get through the day. So yeah. Other than that, I don't really have anything. I saw an article about forever chemicals.
Was it about in the water?
Yeah, forever chemicals and fluoride and the recycled plastics. This may be like literally the biological warfare of our future. Very near future. I mean, like it's going to be studied in a way, and some of these very unique things that are happening to people may just be rooted in chemicals that never existed and mixed with DNA before. So, other than that, my Decembertainment was the Rogan Tucker episode. And I didn't catch those episodes, but Chris Williamson, I told you guys he's the greatest history podcaster after me and Dave. And he has like the super cool. He went to some studio that normally makes video games and shot 4 podcasts on this crazy computer screen, and he's just elevating the space. And in the day and age where we're seeing the battle of ideas and all the influencers, we're going to see quality and ideas done and new things and old things. And it's very exciting. It's cool. And the podcast themselves, he had great guests. So I'm going to check those out this week. But as always, I appreciate everybody for your time. And I'll see you guys later. Dave Ryan, December 1773. Catch us on Rumble, right-wing propaganda hub of the internet, because I'm not allowed on the left ones. As always, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you all later.
Yeah, if you really want, you can catch us on the left ones also for as long as we're allowed to be there. Our YouTube channel did get into good standing again, so I figured why not
Look, YouTube,
self-implode.
remove the breaks. Facebook, don't allow Dave to get tagged in his in his girl's post and have those, like, stop just soft censoring me. Stop. I don't care if it's because I said something that's offensive. That's not an excuse. It's weak. People that defend the idea of like, yeah, it's just weak-willed. I want you to have your bad opinion because, quite frankly, I love it. It's the point. Whatever. I'm gone. Dave Ryan, December 1773. I'll catch you guys later.
Thanks, everyone. Catch us next week at who knows what time for
right-wing propaganda. Clearly, David.
Thanks, everyone.